Welcome back to Fun Movies. Today, I am going to explain a 2020 thriller movie called Unhinged. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. I hope you will enjoy this video. The movie starts on a very stormy 4 a.m. morning. A man called Tom Cooper, who appears to be mentally unstable, is sitting outside of the house in his pickup truck. Inside the pickup truck, he takes his medical pills and takes off a ring from his ring finger and throws it at the back of his pickup truck. He then ignites a matchstick using his thumb, which he watches until it gets off, indicating something gruesome is going to happen next. He then approaches the house carrying a hammer and gasoline. He then begins smashing the door. The couple living in the house finds him still smashing the door open with the hammer. Cooper then proceeds to smash the man first with the hammer to death and then attacks the woman who was screaming for help and begging for mercy. Cooper then pours the gasoline in the house and sets it ablaze. Cooper then gets in his pickup truck and exits the area while the house explodes. We are then taken to the next scene, whereby a divorced mom called Rachel Flynn is awakened by a call from her lawyer and friend Andy, who says that her ex-husband Richard has filed another motion to get their house, in which she lives with their son Kyle, along with Rachel's younger brother Fred and his girlfriend Mary, in their ongoing battle at the court. Kyle is then disappointed to find her mom waking up late and not dressing up for the day to meet her client and Kyle at school. After Rachel prepares her, she then starts to drive Kyle to school. On the way, when Rachel tests her son in spelling some words, they find heavy traffic on the road. Rachel then decides to avoid the traffic jam by using a freeway road. Rachel's phone then starts ringing and Kyle then picks to talk to his father, Richard, on the phone, who tells him that he can't make it to his upcoming game because his boss needed him to go out of town for job purposes. Rachel then speaks to a client, Deborah Haskell, and tells her she is running late, but Deborah fires her out of frustration, which leaves Rachel stranded and disappointed. Rachel drives to exit the freeway when they find themselves stuck in another traffic jam again. Rachel then stops at red light traffic, where she is behind Cooper's pickup truck. The light turns green, but he doesn't move, even as other cars pass them. Rachel honks twice, and she ends up driving past him before the light turns red. She is then stuck at another red light, and Cooper pulls up next to her. He talks to Kyle since his window is down, and he tells them that drivers give light courtesy taps at red lights. Rachel has no time for this and responds aggressively to him, telling him that he did not move when the traffic lights were green. Cooper admits he was wrong for not moving and explains he had a bad day. Cooper then apologizes, and Rachel accepts his apology unwillingly. Cooper then demands an apology from her, to which she refuses to adhere to. Cooper is then extremely annoyed and tells her he will teach her a lesson she will never forget, which threatens and scares the two of them. As they continue driving, Cooper drives faster to catch up with them and then cuts Rachel off on the road. This frightens Rachel as she proceeds to stop on the road with no clue what to do. Cooper then drives straight up ahead and she drives the separate way to drop her son in school. Rachel then drops Kyle off at school and calls Andy to agree to meet for breakfast therapy at Darrow's. On the way, she realizes her car's fuel tank is almost empty and she decides to stop by at a nearby gas station to refill the fuel tank and buy some snacks in a shop at the gas station. As she is inside the shop, she notices Cooper's pickup parked behind her car. The clerk and a customer named Leo notice Rachel look uneasy, and they ask her what is bothering her. She says that she thinks she is being followed. Leo offers to walk with her outside to get Cooper's license plate number so she can call the cops. He does so, and Rachel goes back into her car. Leo makes the mistake of taunting Cooper, causing him to run his truck into Leo and knock him into the road, where he is hit to death by another car, leaving the clerk shocked by what happened. Rachel speeds away, and Cooper goes after her. He has her pinned in bumper-to-bumper traffic as she tries to find her phone to call the police. She then learns that Cooper stole her phone and loses him down a one-way street, whereby she stops in a parking lot to cool down. The scene then shifts to Andy, who is waiting for Rachel at breakfast where she was supposed to meet him. Andy tries to call and text Rachel to no avail, but Cooper finds him there first and fools Andy into thinking he is a friend of Rachel's. Rachel then receives a call from another phone that Cooper left in her car. When she talks to Andy, she tries to warn him that Cooper is not who he says he is, but it's too late as Cooper takes the phone back and threatens Rachel. When Andy tries to intervene, Cooper smashes a mug in his face and slams his head down on the table in front of horrified customers. He abhors Andy because he is a divorce lawyer, as he explains to Rachel that the divorce lawyers have affairs with their wives and bring about unfair decisions, him being the victim. Cooper then stabs Andy's neck using a butter knife he was holding, killing him on the spot, leaving him bleeding profusely. The patrons who didn't run away in terror record the whole scene, and Cooper walks out of the Darrows still threatening Rachel. Rachel tries to apologize to Cooper to no avail, as he ignores her and throws Andy's phone away. Cooper then leaves the area to avoid the police. As Rachel attempts to drive to safety, Cooper keeps her on the phone and makes her choose who will die next, or else he will just go look for Kyle. Rachel chooses herself to be killed, but Cooper tells her she cannot choose herself. Desperate, Rachel tells him to go to Deborah's house as payback for firing her. Rachel calls the cops so that they can corner him at Deborah's house, but he instead goes to Rachel's house. Back in the house, Fred sees the news report on the Darrows murder and tries to call Mary to come to see the news to no avail. He decides to look for her, and Fred is shocked to see the four-wheeled pickup truck with the same description from the news report. Fred arms himself with a kitchen knife to continue searching for Mary, knowing she is in trouble. Fred notices the front door of the house is open and fragments of glasses are on the floor. Cooper then appears in the house holding Mary hostage. Fred tries to lure him with weed and money, but Cooper tells him is not there for the money. Cooper explains that his sister has disrespected him, and he has to unleash his anger through violence and retribution. Fred holds a knife at him, but he pushes Mary repeatedly into the blade to kill her, and then he ties Fred in a chair. Rachel makes it to Kyle's school to get him before Cooper does. Cooper then sends a picture of him with Fred held hostage, which shocks her. Cooper then calls Rachel to instruct her to come into the house or he will kill her brother Freddie. Rachel rushes into school to show the staff the picture she received and tells them that Cooper, who murders another man in the news, is after her and Kyle. After securing Kyle, Cooper calls Rachel again and threatens Fred with fire ready to set him ablaze, to read the letter he was forced to write saying that Rachel was responsible for Mary's death and that she is a self-centered person. Moments later, a cop bursts into the house and shoots Cooper in the shoulder before he escapes, leaving Fred set on fire. Rachel is shocked after she hears her brother scream while on fire, making her pull over and throw up. After she calms down, she receives a call from Cooper thinking it is the police officer. Cooper threatens to kill her son, but this time around Rachel tells him that she will not hesitate to kill him and smashes the phone. Rachel and Kyle decide to rush to the police station for safety purposes. Cooper steals a minivan and catches up with Rachel and Kyle on the highway. The two try to alert a police officer, but Cooper rear-ends him and causes him to swerve into the path of a truck that plows him down, which then causes an immense pile-up of cars. The two try calling 911 for help, but they are told the police officers are currently responding to the car crash that happened on the highway. They try to convince the police to come for Cooper to no avail when the tablet they were using goes off due to low battery. Cooper continues to pursue Rachel and Kyle, causing a woman doing her makeup to crash into a guardrail, which then leads to an explosion of her car and her death. Rachel then comes up with the Fortnite strategy her son told her so that they can trap Cooper. Rachel then decides to drive to her mother's old house, whereby on the way she tricks Cooper, who ends up losing her trail. Rachel arrives at her mother's old house where she manages to keep Kyle hidden, and she waits for Cooper in another car opposite her mother's old house. Cooper, after a long search in the streets, finally spots Rachel's car parked outside the house. He then parks outside the house, where Rachel drives her car into to flip it over. She approaches him with a golf club, but he gets the drop on her and knocks her out before going to find Kyle. Cooper goes into the house and pretends to be a cop so that he can lure Kyle out of his hiding place. Kyle then causes a commotion and screams when his mother comes to his hiding place thinking it was Cooper, whereby it leads Cooper to the hiding place. Kyle's mom is then grabbed and thrown aside with kicks that then follow from Cooper. Cooper then picks Kyle from the hiding place. Rachel picks herself up and fights Cooper as he tries to attack Kyle. Cooper knocks Rachel off and goes to try and strangle Kyle, but Rachel regains her consciousness and jumps at Cooper, jamming a pair of scissors into his eye to take him down. As Cooper tries to get up, Rachel delivers a fucking courtesy tap and kicks the scissors deeper into his skull, finally killing him. The police arrive and get Rachel's statement. The officer informs Rachel that Fred is alive and they can go visit him in the hospital. On the way there, a driver cuts Rachel off at a green light. She almost honks at him but changes her mind, recalling what she has gone through with Kyle. Kyle tells her she made a good choice and the camera pans from them as the movie ends. Thanks for watching and make sure you subscribe for more videos. Stay safe, stick around and enjoy. Bye for now.